I am so incredibly excited to share this with you guys because this has been a dream car of mine for years now, and I was finally at a position where I could finally get one of them. A couple weeks ago, you guys know, I sold the 2023 WRX that I had and the 2022 WRX for one car, and I have not been lucrative or secretive about what I bought because, to be honest, I just don't like keeping secrets. It's just not my thing. I bought a 2001, people are gonna flame me for calling it Porsche. I'm pretty sure it's Porsche. I'm probably just gonna call it Porsche, or I don't think it matters. I'm just gonna call it 911. I bought a higher mileage, I guess I should say, 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo, and I am ecstatic. Now you see, here's the thing, normal people who are not car people would probably think I'm crazy. Yeah, and you know what? They may be right to a degree, but I'm not crazy. I absolutely love this thing. It is a 2001 911 Turbo. I said it is a higher mileage unit. We have 108,000 miles on this car, but that does not stress me. I have learned in the past that I would rather have a car that's actually been driven through its life than one that has sat, because dealing with the RX-7, that car sat for a long time. It is a lower mileage car, but seeing what happens to suspension, bushings, things like that, just general, not even wear items, as a car sits and doesn't get used, they degrade and they break down. Also, this one was a tad bit cheaper, obviously because it's higher mileage, but with that also comes a lot of modifications on this car, which I would have done anyways, so it saves me money, so no complaints there. Like, this thing, it's insane to me. Like, this blows my mind. I've wanted one of these for so long. And it's funny because a couple videos ago when I was doing the price breakdown on the 6-swapped STI that we built, I joked at the beginning of the video, I was like, hey, I could have bought a 911 Turbo for the money that I spent. And funny enough, we now have a 911 Turbo and that car still. And I've been driving this around, and it is such a weird comparison to make between this car and the STI, because the STI, that car is violent. That car is just violent all the time. And this car is a little bit different. It's violent, but it like lures you in to like a comfort, and then it's violent. This is a 996.2. I'm still learning all the 911 terminology, so if I get it wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments if you'd like. But I believe this one is a 996 point. Well, I know it's a 996, but I'm pretty sure it's a .2. Another reason why I got a 996 is because they are cheaper, solely because of the shape of the headlights. Apparently, a ton of Porsche, please don't flame me in the comments for pronouncing this wrong if I am. Apparently a ton of enthusiasts hate this car just based off of the headlights, and that's totally cool with me because that brings down the price of these to a point where I can afford them. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like the 911 is a cheap car. Even at 108,000 miles, it was still the most expensive car I have ever purchased, coming in a little bit north of $50,000. I am totally transparent. I will be totally open with you guys. That is why I sold 2 brand new WRXs, the 2022 and the 2023, to be able to get this car. Even with it being higher mileage, I was okay with that, solely because, like I said, it came with a lot of modifications that I would have done to the car otherwise. And to be honest, I do think that price was a little bit higher than it should have been for this specific car, but like I said, I was okay spending it just because it came with a lot of stuff that I would have done otherwise. So let me give you guys a quick walk around on this thing. If you are a 911 enthusiast, you'll probably already see some things off the bat. This is not a normal 911 Turbo bumper. This is a GT2 RS bumper that has been paint matched and fitted to the car, and in my opinion, it looks way better than the turbo bumpers do. The turbo bumpers come up all the way to the hood, and they don't have these, I guess, like cooling fins here like this generator, or like that trim level does. Now, the other couple things on the exterior of this car that are kind of cool before we jump to some of the performance stuff is it also has a GT2 RS Wing on here. So it came with a lot of the higher trim level stuff while still being a turbo model model, which I am totally cool with. Now for the front brakes, we actually have a set of aftermarket front calipers on this car. They are 6-pot calipers from Sparta with some fresh rotors on there as well. So I honestly don't think I would have had a problem with the stock Porsche brakes on there, but the Sparta ones look really good. In the back, we still have the standard Porsche 4-pot calipers back here. It's funny, the calipers on the rear of the 911 are the same size as the ones that are on the front of the STI right there. Moving inside of the car, this is where a lot of this stuff is cool. I was also kind of picky with what I was looking for out of one of these cars when I was looking. I would not have bought one if it was not a full black interior. I don't like the tan, brown, peanut butter, call it whatever color you want interiors. I just don't think they look good in my opinion. So we have an all black interior. The prior owner went through and he paid to have it reupholstered. So we have an Alcantara wrapped steering wheel, Alcantara wrapped dash pieces here, Alcantara shift boot, and the shift knob was reupholstered in new leather. Up here we have Alcantara, it's so hard to see. Up here we have Alcantara restitched along the entire front of the dash. The door cards have been redone in black as well, at least for the little carpeted area. I'm pretty sure the upper part came in black. This thing came with a set of OEM 911 GT3 RS front seats, which blows my mind because like I said, I was okay with spending a little bit more on this car because it had a lot of the stuff that I would have done otherwise. And these seats are, from what I've seen on eBay, like $6,000 to $7,000. I could be totally wrong, or that price could be totally out there, but that's just kind of what I've seen from this. Now, like I said, I'm still learning a lot about this 911 stuff. I've already had to order some replacement parts for this thing. Now, with it being higher mileage, you guys can see there, 107,958 miles. There are some defects with the car that we're obviously gonna have to fix. One of the issues being the center heater control unit here. I've actually already ordered what we need to fix this. It's just an LCD display. I got it on Amazon for like 50 bucks. Seems easy enough. I don't know how to take this out, but we can figure that out. But yeah, over here where it's supposed to say manual, it's just kind of like the screen died right there. Something else is the side view mirrors. I cannot adjust them. For some reason, I am unable to. I'm pretty sure I use this little control right here, but for some reason it just doesn't work. Aside from that, everything else on the interior is pretty nice. Like, there's not really any other problems. The prior owner did go through, I want to say it's a GT2 or GT3 RS conversion here. On the turbo models, there's normally a big center console that comes down right here, and he deleted that, and now everything is just kind of centralized right here, which I personally don't have a problem with. I just kind of wish I had cup holders, or at least a cup holder. Kind of cool that it has a front trunk, which is surprisingly way bigger than I was anticipating. I don't really know what I'm gonna use a front trunk for, but I guess I can put stuff in there, so that's kind of neat. Now in the back, we've got a very crammed engine bay, which honestly I'm not too stressed to work on. It doesn't seem that bad from everything that I've seen. From what I've seen, you just drop the engine mounts. There's one right down there and one on the other side, and you can lower this engine down to be able to work on it. This is a 3.6 liter twin turbo. This is not the one with the IMS bearing issue. Now these 996 cars are kind of notorious for a bearing called an IMS bearing. It's the intermediate shaft bearing going bad. And when that bearing goes bad, it takes out the engine. Now, the turbo models do not have that problem. They use an entirely different engine from my understanding. The naturally aspirated cars like the Carreras and things like that use an M96 engine, where these use, and some of you guys are probably going to correct me because I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong as well. It's a Mezger engine, which from what everybody has told me, these engines are absolute tanks. People have made upwards of 700 horsepower stock blocks reliably. I don't know. First of all, I don't even know how much power the car's making right now. This 911 has a built transmission from G-Box. The water lines have already been pinned. The engine's already been gone through. Before I picked it up from the dealer, they went through and made sure that literally everything on this car was up to snuff. They aligned it. They machined the front rotors so that way we had good fresh surface on there, double check the brake pads, make sure everything was good there. They replaced the window regulator on the driver's window, which we're gonna have to go back in there and fix because the window doesn't actually roll down all the way, so I don't think they got it where it needs to be. A ton of other things. I have probably like $25,000 worth of receipts of work that has been done to this car in the past year alone to get it perfect. So I'm not too stressed about this car having 108,000 miles. And like I said, if, God forbid, something happens to this engine, we are going to build it ourselves. You guys know me, you guys know I DIY literally everything from engine builds, whether it's a Subaru engine, a rotary engine. This isn't gonna be any other different. It's not gonna be any different. Just because the engine's in the back of the car, and it's a Porsche or Porsche, however you want to pronounce it, that's not going to stop me from going through and actually building and learning another platform. That's the whole reason I wanted to move to a 911 from Subaru, is to be able to learn another type of engine. And with me loving like the flat engines like we have in the past, I figured this was the best move to do. Now, from my understanding and what I've been told, this car has upgraded wastegates, intakes, downpipes, cat back. It's been tuned, upgraded shift cables. Tomorrow, I'm taking this down to Forced Induction Motorsports. We're gonna toss it on the dyno and see how much power it makes baseline to kind of see where we're at and then where we're gonna go, because I already have everything to kind of change some stuff on this car. This car's a little bit quiet for me, so we are gonna make it louder. It has some aftermarket cats and an aftermarket cat back on it, but the car's a little bit quiet for me, so I ordered 2 Jesse G-Sport catalytic converters. So I'm sure you guys are probably a little bit tired of me talking. Let's go ahead and get the 911 turbo started up, and we'll get some revs, a couple flybys, and then I want to go drive this thing, and I'll bring you guys along with me, because the way this car drives is similar and different to Blue, my EG33 STI with the 3.3 liter H6 in it. That car is violent all the time. This car is, like I said, it's violent, but it lures you into like a sense of security before it comes violent. It's weird. It's got 335s on the rear and it still breaks tires loose. It's insane. To start this thing, the key is on the left side. It sounds so good starting up. It is dry out, and whenever I give this car full juice in like second or third gear, it just breaks the tires free. It's got 335s in the rear. I have no idea how much power it's making. We're gonna find out tomorrow. We're going down to Forced Induction Motorsports, like I said, tossing it on the dyno to get a baseline, but I'm so curious. It picks up into boost so quick too. It feels like it's coming in like right around 2,500 RPMs when both of the turbos are kicking up. I don't know what size turbos these come with. I know the X50 packages come with slightly bigger turbos. Plus it's cool. A car from 2001, this car's 23 years old, still has a digital speedometer. Like, come on, that's nice. That's just a nice little feature to have in here. Now, with this being a rear-mounted engine car, and this being my first rear-mounted engine car, I'm trying to just work my way into it a little bit, because there are noticeably some general driving differences between driving like the Subarus and driving this. And I'm using the Subarus as a comparison because that's what I have personally the most experience with. For me, at least, I really wanted and liked about this is the fact that it doesn't have a lot of like the sound deadening, the comfort stuff. When it comes to like performance cars or driver-oriented cars that I want to get, I like being able to hear the suspension creak, the chassis creak, the transmission whine, the turbos spool up. I like to hear all that stuff. It's more engaging, it's more fun for me, and there's people out there who don't like that, which there's nothing wrong with. Some people just want a nice quiet ride, but for me, being able to hear just everything makes it so much more fun. That's another reason why I love the 07 STI so much that we have, is because it is just one of those older cars where you can just hear everything mechanical happening. If you want to just drive the car smooth, you can. Like, granted, it's a little bit bumpy, but you also have to keep in mind we have a set of cross coilovers on the car, which I think cross coilovers are more racing-oriented coilovers on these things. So, I already joined a couple of the local Porsche I know you guys are gonna come for me in the comments for saying either Porsche or Porsche. I've already joined a couple of their groups, and I'm trying to get in on a couple of rallies that they have, which is where they just take the cars across multiple states or on these big road trips for fun. Trying to get set up on a couple of local track days out at the Ridge with this car, because I think this would be a really fun car to take out there. As much as I'd love to take the STI out there, to be honest, that car has just kind of turned into a drag car. So overall, I'm heavily enjoying the 911 right now. I've wanted one of these things for years and finally got to a position where we could get one, and I already know I'm going to see comments where people say the 996 is the worst generation, it's the ugliest, you should have got a 997, all this other stuff. And I think a lot of that is purely personal opinion. I like how the 996 looks, and at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. As long as I'm enjoying the car, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And what you have to understand is, when I bought this car, I didn't want to settle for a non-turbo model, because I know myself, and if I buy a car that's not the trim level that I want, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be happy with it. So the price difference really between a 996 and a 997, the 997 being the next generation with the actual round Porsche headlights that people love, Porsche headlights that everyone loves, it's about a $30,000 price difference in my area, in the Seattle area. So I have absolutely no complaints with the purchase at all, aside from a couple little things that we have to fix, but that's not a problem. Now, the other thing I do want to touch on is, just because we are down to the 07 STI and the 17 STI, we still have the RX-7 and now the 911 and the GTI. It doesn't mean that we're going to be getting away from Subaru stuff at all. We're still going to be doing Subaru stuff, but there are going to be other things mixed into the channel, just because I need diversity, both for my own sanity to be able to do things that are not the same thing every single day, and for channel growth, obviously. So I made the mistake with the 22 or the 23 WRX is buying that car as a content car, which I'm not going to buy any cars going forward that I don't personally enjoy, that I don't personally love, because at the end of the day, I'm not 100% enjoying a purchase that I made, and B, you guys start to like the cars that I bring to the channel, and then it feels like I just rip them away, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm only going to be, from here on out, and starting with the 911 obviously, only buying cars that I personally would want and I would personally buy. So I'm excited for it. 911's going on the dyno tomorrow. We're gonna see how much power it makes. Bring it back. There's a couple things we're gonna do. The windows are not tinted in this thing, and I need tinted windows. I just hate driving around at fish bowls. We're gonna go ahead and build that custom 3-inch exhaust from the turbo back with two Gessie G-Sport catalytic converters, everything like that. I want this car to be a lot louder than it actually is right now, because personally for me, it's just way too quiet. So with that, that's really all I got for you guys on this one. If you like the video, you know what to do. There's a mosquito, get out! You know what to do. Go hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet. But with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies. Woo!